Hey everybody, I am TinTim. That is T-I-N as in Neapolitan, T-I-M as in milk chocolate. I am America's first drag queen public intellectual, aka the Cornell motherfucking West of drag, coming to you each week with my thoughts on Season 1 of RuPaul's Drag Race, aka the last season. Dun dun. So this was episode 3, the bizarro, weirdo Oprah challenge, which I thought was strange the first time I watched this episode, and I thought it was strange this time. Some of you have heard me talk in past videos about what I like to call the WTF challenge episode, which is one where there's a clear confusion amongst the queens about what the expectation for the challenge is or what they're supposed to be doing. And, like what is expected of them. And we saw that a lot in this episode, a lot of miscommunication, a lot of lack of clarity about the distinction between, like, being inspired by Oprah conceptually and, like, actually imitating Oprah, right? And, was this supposed to be serious or not? What were they supposed to prepare for? And I actually thought it was a little bit weird that they were told to put their look together before they knew what they would be doing. I think that there would have been less confusion if the queens had known from the get-go that they were going to be doing these Oprah-like tasks of interviewing people, but as their own sort of talk show host persona, versus, I think that the fact that they started with the look and saying, create a look inspired by Oprah, made it more, seem more like people were supposed to actually imitate, right? But I still think it's a weird episode. Like, why do you make something all about, like, a celebrity that has no relation to the show, that's not going to be on the show? I don't know. But one thing that I always really enjoy about this episode, and that I think is hilarious, is that this is one of the times when Shannel's accidental hilarity, like, really stands out, right? I think Shannel is, like, a wonderful reality television character. I thought she was hilarious on All Stars. I think she's hilarious in Season 1. First of all, I want to make it very clear that I think she's an incredibly talented queen that has a, really rich and developed skill set. But I really enjoy watching her because I think, kind of like Alyssa Edwards last season, she's this person who seems largely unaware of how big her personality is and how, kind of accidentally hysterical she's being in a kind of almost camp humor kind of way, and it isn't always deliberate. And, maybe there is some element of consciously playing some of it up, but it's not fully clear, and it's definitely seems like a lot of her persona is sort of the bigness of her personality, and her persona is kind of accidental, right? I always think of her as this sort of, like, classic diva in a way, where she has this, huge personality, larger than life personality, and this huge kind of ego, right, to a degree, this hugely inflated sense of self-importance, although she's very talented, and a lot of that's earned, right, I want to be clear about that, but has an inflated sense of herself, and at the same time is, like, very insecure. So it's that kind of thing of, like, that sort of, like, CeCe Bloom, Bette Midler and Beaches kind of classic diva thing of, like, oh, don't tell me I'm beautiful, oh, don't tell me, oh, no, oh, thank you, oh, don't, sort of thing. And I think that's just really entertaining and really fun to watch, right? Sometimes it just seems like there's this kind of, like, insecurity or just manicness to her that works really well on screen as a reality TV character and is really fun. When RuPaul said, we haven't seen enough of your vulnerability. In one way it's true, because it's all bravado and all this very performative confidence, right? But at the same time, it's like all we see is her vulnerability, because it's so clear in a way that all of that constant hyper comes from, a need to reinforce, how talented she is, and that she's not totally comfortable and stable and set in that yet. Which to me is sort of like the classic diva persona that I think a lot of queer people, a lot of gay men, a lot of queens identify with when we see it in, like, cis women, straight women performers, is that sort of like dual strength, extra superhuman quality on the one hand, which Shannel definitely has, but then on the other hand, this sort of, like, manic insecurity that could all go away at any time, because it's all, built up by the public, and the public can put you up and the public will tear you down or something. I don't know, right? So Shannel is one of my favorite divas of Drag Race. And that's kind of all I wanted to say for this episode. Much love to you all. Mwah.